Hi, this is John, and if you've been following the Gabriel method for any period of time, you know that more and more I've been looking for alternatives to grains, especially things like wheat and bread, because for several reasons. One, because they elevate insulin levels, and insulin's the fat storage hormone. Eventually, you develop insulin resistance, so the cells stop listening to insulin. Creates a very vicious cycle where your insulin levels elevate and you're perpetually in fat storage mode and you're craving junk food all the time. You lose the ability to burn fat. Horrible, horrible scenario. Also, there's so much research coming out these days about gluten, which is the gluey substance in wheat and in many grains, and how bad it is for you. There's been a lot of studies to show that it causes leaky gut syndrome, that the proteins in gluten cause your intestines to become more permeable and you start leaking toxins into your bloodstream all the time because the food's not fully digested. It overworks your immune system. Your immune system then gets confused and starts attacking your organs and your glands, and you develop things like Hashimoto's disease, where you have to get your thyroid removed, and chronic fatigue syndrome and autism, and all these things are caused in part because of this leaky gut syndrome that gluten causes. Also, there's been some interesting studies that gluten causes you to gain weight. I've recently read a study where they took two groups of mice and they fed them both a high-fat diet. And it used to be thought that a high-fat diet, if you feed a mouse a high-fat diet, it's going to cause them to gain weight. And that never made sense to me because fat in and of itself doesn't cause you to gain weight. And I was always, whenever I read those studies, I always said, I don't want to know that it's a high-fat diet. I want to know what it is that they're eating. And it turns out they did a study recently where they fed two groups of mice a high-fat diet. One of them was a gluten-free diet, and the other one was a high-fat diet that was 4.5% gluten. The mice that were fed a high-fat diet with 4.5% gluten gained weight. The mice that were fed a gluten-free diet that was high-fat, same calories but gluten-free, lost weight. It wasn't the fat, it was the gluten. Gluten is in wheat and many grains. So the question, if grains are so bad for you, is what do you eat instead? And there's many solutions to that, and we're always looking for solutions, but one really great solution is nori wraps. So nori is seaweed that's pressed into a sheet like this that you can use to wrap. And so there's lots of fun things you can do with this. A lot of you, if you've gone to Japanese restaurants, you know that they use that for sushi and nori rolls. But they usually use rice, which, again, is a grain, and I'm not crazy about. So we've come up with a couple of recipes. They're really, really simple that you can use as wraps, and you can use these. You can take them for lunch. You can put them in school lunches. They can be afternoon snacks. Kids love them. The beauty of nori is, because it's seaweed, it's very, very high in minerals. Doesn't elevate your insulin levels at all. Very easy to digest. Very high in calcium, and it's a very absorbable calcium. Also high in iodide, which is good for your thyroid. Helps speed up thyroid function, and many, many other trace minerals and nutrients. Also very high alkaline, which cleanses your blood. So in so many ways, you're taking something that's bad, like a wrap that's made out of wheat that's causing all these problems, and you're replacing it with something that's super, super nutritious. And when you do it the right way, it tastes really good. So here's a couple of recipes that we've created, but you really, really can make it your own. The basic is that you take the nori sheet, you put it on a plate, and then you put some of your favorite toppings. Like, so for this one here, what we've done with this one is instead of rice, we've ground up cauliflower in a food processor and use that as the rice. And then you can put whatever you want. So in this particular one, we're using cauliflower and grinding it up in a food processor and using it as a rice. And cauliflower doesn't elevate your insulin levels. It's not a grain. It's got lots of nutrients. And it makes a really good substitute for rice. Then we're putting a little bit of cucumber, a little bit of avocado, some ginger, and some ground chia seeds, and then wrapping it up. And the key when you wrap it up is you want to put a little bit of liquid at the very edge, and that'll help it bind when you make the roll of it. And then and that's it. It's that simple. That's that one. Then I did another one here that's basically just cucumber, avocado, and smoked salmon. So you lay it out, you put the cucumber strips, you put some avocado, you put some smoked salmon, a little bit of wasabi and ginger. So the wasabi is that, like when you go to a Japanese restaurant, it's that mustard, very nice, and some ground chia seeds. So in all of these things, I'm putting a little bit of ground chia seeds because they're high in omega-3s. The salmon's also high in omega-3s, and then you've got the cucumber and the avocado, which is a nice live food. So you're getting all the things that you want in a Gabriel Method meal, which is protein, omega-3, and live food. So that's a really good one. And then another one, and again, you can mix and match these basically. You just take the principle and make it your own. But then we did one with chicken and hummus. So we put it down, we put a little bit of chicken, a little bit of hummus, some capsicum, a little bit of ground chia seeds, and the hummus helps it bind it also. Then you roll it up, and that's it, and then you just kind of cut them in half. And what I like to do with them is I kind of like to mix them with dips. So I got a whole kind of plate of dips. I'm not going to eat all this, okay, but so these are just examples of them. But if I took one, I might take, this is sort of like a bruschetta type of dip. I could put it on there like that and eat it that way. There's some goat cheese, some olive tapenade, some wasabi and ginger. A little bit of hummus is there. You know, just kind of like that. It spices it up a little. It's a really, really tasty meal that again is giving you all the elements of nutrients without all the hormonal problems that comes from grains and processed food. So I love nori wraps, and if you do them right, your kids, your whole family will love them too. So give them a try, and if you have some good recipes, definitely email me. I want to hear about it, and I hope you enjoy it, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.